Yo, Jonathan here, and Tim Apple blessed us with some new phones today. The iPhone 17, Air, and 17 Pro are official. Not gonna lie, the Air kind of surprised me, as did the update to AirPods Pro 3. Needless to say, though, I am excited for everything. What I am more excited about, however, is this is the first iPhone event since 2021 where I can officially say shingles didn't kick my ass, and everybody please knock on some wood. It started in 2022 with the iPhone 14 Pro, came back worse in 2023 where I completely missed the 15 Pro, and even though last year was better, it came back and beat me down pretty good in September to the point where I kind of just mustered up enough strength to do my video on the 16 Pro and collapsed for a couple months. I have been working so hard and I feel like it's starting to pay off. I'm just excited to be making videos and really covering this iPhone with some semblance of health, because really, I think it's gonna be the most fun that I'll have with an iPhone since maybe pre-2020. So absolutely drop a like and subscribe if you're excited for the launch. And if there's anything you want to see covered, please let me know. Like, yell it at me. James, not that loud, dude. Now, this video doesn't have a sponsor, but my friends over at Apogee are running a pretty ridiculous sale on their Duet 3 audio interface. It's what I'm using to record the audio for this video right now as we speak. And yes, that is an iPhone 16e. There are so many great entry-level audio interfaces, but if you're looking to step up without spending a ton of money, this is probably the best deal on the planet. It sounds incredible. I take it everywhere with me. And yes, while it is great for music, if you're making videos and not looking at this, I feel like you're missing out. So there's an affiliate link down below, which is also not what you think, but I'll talk more about that and why it means so much to me after we talk about these iPhones. So iPhone 17, maybe it's the lack of shingles, maybe it's going into the event without any crazy expectations, but I feel like I was surprised with pretty much everything. So gone is the Plus model, which means this comes in only one singular size. There are 5 colors: black, white, mist blue, sage, and lavender. I think I'm gonna miss that Detroit Lions blue, but all in all, these look really solid. You have a 6.3-inch display with dynamic island, and finally 120 Hz ProMotion, so everybody who is fed up with 60 can finally rejoice. You have 1000 nits of max brightness, 1600 nits of peak brightness for HDR, and a massive 3000 nits of peak brightness in outdoor situations, which is cool to see they brought this to the 17. Inside is an A19 chip with 2 performance cores, 4 efficiency cores, and 5 GPU cores. So once again, it's nice to see they're not pulling from older phones or models. One of the cooler updates, I'd say, is the 18 megapixel center stage camera. For starters, it's a square sensor, which is going to give you different zoom and rotation options. So if you look closer here, yes, we're changing orientation, but the phone itself actually isn't rotating. It's kind of similar to what OpenGate is on fancier pro video cameras, and I think it really makes sense here on the front-facing camera. This also gives you ultra stabilized video and center stage video for video calls, which sometimes I think can be a little annoying if the person on the video call is just constantly doing this and the phone is just trying to keep up and keep that in frame, and it just feels like a roller coaster. So if you use center stage, quit moving around so much. This is a dual camera system which features 2 48 megapixel shooters, including the 13mm ultra wide. The main lens is a 26mm equivalent at f1.7 that also doubles as a 2x 52mm telephoto lens at 12 megapixels. And I'm sorry, because at this point you're still probably thinking about pickles. What's also nice is the iPhone 17 starts at 256 gigabytes of storage, so gone are the 128 gig days, and then you can max this out at 512 gigs. So the iPhone 17 is surprisingly solid, but let's talk about that Air. I think the general consensus going into this event was it was going to replace the 17 Plus, but suck more, and that really wasn't the case. First, Johnny Ive has to have some sort of FOMO right now. He's out there hanging with Sam, making jackets that aren't that cool. And then Tim Apple is like, yo dude, here's the iPhone 17 Air. There are 4 colors: sky blue, light gold, cloud white, and space black. It is 5.6 millimeters thin, 165 grams light, and even though everybody thought Apple was gonna throw some weak ass chip inside, Tim throws the curveball and throws an A19 Pro in there. The only thing I'm disappointed with is the amount of bend tests and drop tests and destruction tests we're about to see. Come on, guys. Outside of that, or regardless of what your feelings are towards this phone, it is really impressive engineering. Most of the inside of this phone is battery, so I'm really curious how that's going to stand up. Display-wise, this comes in at 6.5 inches with 120 Hz ProMotion, 1000 nits of max brightness, 1600 nits of peak brightness, and then once again, you get that Malcolm in the Middle fireworks scene level brightness of 3000 nits of peak brightness for outdoors. One advantage with the Air over the 17 is this will go up to 1 terabyte of storage. For better or for worse, they have also included the camera control and action buttons. Shout out iPod Touch and the Loop, because now we have something similar, except this time it's full body, so you can wear your phone. Jokes aside, I do think that will be useful when you're out and about taking photos or videos, but I know inevitably people will get it just to wear the phone. I would say the biggest thing you're giving up with the 17 Air would be the ultra wide angle lens. There's a single shooter. Yes, you do get 2 focal lengths, but you don't get ultra wide. So if that's important to you, maybe something to consider. But I feel like for most people who just want something light that's still powerful, this is gonna be a surprisingly great option. Ultimately, I think because of the lack of ultra wide and maybe more importantly, no ProRes, no log, that's gonna push me over to the 17 Pro. Speaking of that 17 Pro and Pro Max, this was probably the least surprising announcement just because there were some really overhyped rumors, but I think after the dust is settled, it's a really solid upgrade. It is the first new design we've seen in a minute. I know people out there are probably body shaming it right now, but I really like it. They simplified things with 3 colors: silver, cosmic orange, shout out Marklin Sagan, and deep blue. I'm a little torn on what to do for color. I am no way cool enough for orange, so that's out of the picture. Silver looks amazing, but also deep blue is kind of calling me, so let me know what you guys think I should do. Outside of display and battery life, both the 17 Pro and Pro Max are pretty much identical, which is nice. The 17 Pro comes in at 6.3 inches, whereas the 17 Pro Max comes in at 6.9 inches. And one advantage with the Max this year is it'll go up to 2 terabytes of storage, which is gonna be really, really helpful for me. I am currently maxed the heck out on my 16 Pro Max, so an extra terabyte of storage, please, please, please. I think this also does bring some balance to the lineup because you have the 17 at 6.3 inches, the iPhone Air at 6.5 inches, the iPhone 17 Pro Max at 6.9 inches, and then again, you have that 17 Pro, which is the same as the 17, smaller than the Air, but gives you some more Pro features. Just like the Air, there is also the A19 Pro Chip inside, but the difference here is you get an extra GPU core, which should hopefully make a bit of a difference. The biggest difference with the 17 Pro and 17 Pro Max, or at least the most exciting for me, is gonna be the better cooling system. For most everyday things, the iPhone is fine, but when you shoot a lot of video on your phone, that baby definitely overheats. So while it is nice to see them taking Johnny Ive chances on thinness and sleekness, it's also refreshing to see them taking it seriously with the 17 Pro and really putting everything into better thermals there. This should also hopefully equate to better performance when you're outside or in the sun. And if you're in LA, it has been so damn hot lately. The camera system is a lot to digest, so drink some ginger. I said drink some ginger, not eat it. You get the same 18 megapixel center stage camera as the iPhone Air and 17, but where the big difference lies is those rear cameras. Just like Hansen, there's 3 of them. The main lens is a 24mm equivalent at f1.78 that also doubles as a 2x 48mm shooter at 12 megapixels. The second lens is also 48 megapixels, and spoiler alert, they all are. This, however, is a 13mm ultra-wide lens coming in at f2.2. From there, Tim is packing some heat on that third lens because this comes in with a focal length equivalent of 100mm. That is at 48 megapixels, so if you want to bump this up to 200mm, you can do that at 12. It definitely needs the most light out of all 3 lenses coming in at f2.8, but regardless, this is going to be a ton of fun to use. Not just for stills either, but also really for me, I think video, which I am so excited about. Admittingly, I saw some rumors that there was finally going to be 8K video recording on the iPhone 17 Pro and Pro Max, so I am sure people are up in arms about the lack of that happening right now. What is arguably more important than 8K is Apple kind of briefly touched on this, but they said said the sensor was 56% bigger. They really didn't spend a ton of time on that, so I'm gonna have to dive a little bit deeper. But if the sensor size is any bigger and gives us any more depth, it's gonna be kind of wild. The biggest star of the show, I would say, however, outside of the better thermal cooling, is going to be ProRes RAW. So the idea there is, I feel like most of us with photography at least know what RAW is, where after the fact, once you already shoot things, you can go back in. They also really didn't talk about it, but on the slide I saw there was now Apple Log 2. So I'm not sure if that was new last year or it's new here, but either way, if there's any improvement to color, I'm also really excited. You can change white balance, you can change ISO. So if you didn't capture it perfectly in camera, you have a little more flexibility in post. I am definitely always a fan of capturing it the best you can in camera, but I think having ProRes RAW as an option is going to be really helpful, and I think just push this a little further than it already has gone. So all of that, the focal lengths, better cooling, more storage, Log 2, ProRes RAW, I'm ready to shoot video on this right now. The 15 Pro and 16 Pro have been such an integral part of my life, just being able to capture everything and still make it look incredible. Like I said, I've started to use real cameras more and more, but the iPhone is always there. And even with the ability to use something like this FX2, I'm using the iPhone so much of the time. I've been working on a 16 Pro 1 year later review, so when that's live, I'll link it up here and down below. But one of the most meaningful things I've been working on is a documentary on the Palisades fire and how it impacted two close friends of mine, Bob Clearmountain and Betty Bennett. Betty is the CEO of Apogee, which again is the audio interface that I'm using, and Bob is one of the greatest mix engineers to ever do it. He essentially invented the mixing roll. I am lucky to call them friends. They were there for me during the worst of it. And I've spent about 6 months working on this. And you guessed it, the iPhone has been such a crucial part of that. Not only did Bob and Betty lose their home of 30 years, but Bob lost his studio where so many countless records were worked on. And while they're going through the biggest tragedy of their life, they're still out there supporting others. Apogee was the first company out there to reach out and to say, hey, if you lost any gear in the fire, hit us up, we'll replace it. So in the instance of the Duet 3, it's not a case of, hey, go buy this because someone's house burned down. Buy it because it's an incredible piece of tech. It's something that I use. It's something that makes me better, and it's something that could make you better as well. And if that at the same time also supports an amazing company, that is a double win. My reverse Uno card of the day, though, is if you remember earlier, I said there was an affiliate link, and there is. You actually have a couple options. You can buy it directly off Apogee's website, which doesn't go back to me at all. You can buy it off Amazon, which does help me in the channel, or you can grab it on Sweetwater. I've been working with them recently. They've been incredible, and they set up an affiliate link program for me. But the deal here is any affiliate revenue that is generated through Sweetwater, I'm going to donate it to Bob's studio. I already know how Bob's going to react, and he's probably going to say, hell no. No way in hell. Absolutely not, Jonathan. So Bob, my pitch to you is you guys have supported so many people. I have watched you do it time and time again. I know people have come together. I know you're so grateful, but I don't think it'll ever quantify how much you guys have done for others. So I'm calling out all musicians. If you were going to buy something that you already were planning on doing, just use this link. Here is a QR code, and if you hate QR codes, the URL is tinyurl.com/Betty and Bob. Bob, this isn't coming out of anyone's pocket. This is simply just for those who are going to buy that piece of gear, again, that they already were going to. This way, it just goes back to one of the greatest mix engineers to do it and two of the best people that I know. I know you're probably still going to fight me, but hopefully not. And for those watching, this is how you can support some great people and an amazing company. It doesn't have to be the Duet 3. It could be literally anything on Sweetwater. But if you want to double up, support twice, buy that Duet 3, and really help out in two situations. Thank you guys. It means the world to me. I really can't express how grateful I am to be here making videos. And again, I'm so excited for this coverage. So thank you for watching. This is Jonathan, and I will catch you guys later.